All right, everybody, get this thing rocking and rolling. It is time for Power Day Live, virtual California style. Welcome, everyone. Tom, did you hit record already?
We are recording.
All right, sweet. Hey, everybody. My name is Jarrett McAllister. I am a mentor on the Power platform and a co-host for today. Today is Power Day Live, California style. Very excited today. Welcome to everybody here. We are going to have an awesome time. First things first, let's just kick it off. I would like to introduce a good friend of mine, someone who's been successful on this platform, actually been in the solar industry for about 9 years now. Before that, I believe he was in the commercial industry, but then escaped, got over to solar. Past 2 years, came over to Powur, where he's been absolutely crushing it. Let's give it a round of applause for my man, Bill Conley. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Jerry, thank you very much. Good to be here. Just excited about Powur in general and really excited about what's happening today with this virtual Powur Day. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our presenter today for the Powur presentation, and that is my very dear friend, Tom Cotter. He's one of my dearest friends. I had the pleasure of working with him in our last company several years ago before we both came to Powur. In fact, Tom is the reason that I joined the Powur platform. Tom is, as the industry lingo goes, an original solar OG. Tom has probably forgotten more about the solar industry than most of us may ever know. Tom is both selfless and generous with his time and knowledge, and there is no one I know with better access to data and answers to all things solar and Powur platform related than our own Tom Cotter. As the recipient of the company's first Andrea Budd Award for dedication to the Powur cause and helping others, Tom and his wife, Christy, will be traveling to Paris next month as part of the award, something our co-founder, Andrea, always wanted to do, but was not able to do. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Tom Cotter.
Wow, thank you, Bill. Those are very nice words. I'm just thinking back to the restaurant in Stockton that you and I first met at with John and Roman, back in, what was it? 2019. We're coming up on 4 or 5 years of working together in solar. So it's been fun and an amazing journey. I've learned a lot from you. In addition to being a dear friend, you've taught me a lot, as we've worked together. You've helped so many people on the Powur platform. So thanks for kicking us off here. Just fixing some technical difficulties. The thing that has kept me working in solar for so long has been, people like you and working with you. So again, thanks for kicking us off here, Bill. Thanks for the kind words. I want to mention just a couple things here. As people are coming into the room, if you could stay on mute, and use chat for questions, that would be great. Co-hosts are going to help with that as well. So now, Bill used a word that is really important. Powur is a platform. Yes, we sell a lot of solar. We install a lot of solar, but Powur is a platform, and that's a big distinction. I'll share with you from my side. I've been in home solar now for 16 years next month. Hard to believe. I've worked in solar sales at the kitchen table and coached and managed solar sales teams doing good volume at 2 publicly traded companies. And I also trained many other contractors and their sales teams when I worked in finance. And I got to see behind the curtain at those contractors. And there's such a stark difference between what they're doing and what Powur is doing. And I want to frame it with that statement as we start, and kind of look at what solar is really all about. If you look at the status quo for for home energy and what homeowners are doing when they're buying energy. So really what homeowners are doing is renting energy from a monopolized utility. And that's it. They're not adding value to their home. They're not getting 30% tax benefits. They're doing damage to the planet and to people because it's polluting. And that's why I began working in solar back in 2006. I had a daughter. We were in the Central Valley, Clovis to be exact. And our daughter Allison had breathing problems. It seemed like every winter, multiple inhalers, being sick lasted multiple months. So I began to learn about air quality, and I started to wonder if when I turned on a light switch in our house, if the electricity that I was buying from PG&E was contributing to my daughter's health issues. And later, in learning about public health and air quality, I found out that about 1 out of every 10 people are having health problems as a result of the pollution that we're dumping into our air that we breathe. Even so much so that it's causing premature deaths by the thousands each year. So that's what led me into solar. That's why I have stayed in solar. It started with my kids, and now, I want to make, the community I live in, our country, and even may sound a little idealistic, but even our world a better place, starting with the air that we breathe. So as we get started on this journey into what Powur is and how you may be able to be a part of this vision and mission that we have, take a deep breath with me. That's my why. And you can think about your why a little bit later in our training. So the old way of buying energy is homeowners buying dirty electricity from a monopoly. The Powur platform gives homeowners the ability to switch to solar, and they can start that on day one. People like choices. They like saving money. They like adding an asset to their home that raises the value of their home. They like owning energy rather than just renting it indefinitely. And I don't know if you've seen some of the energy rate hikes that we've seen in California. This is a California virtual event today, although anyone from the rest of the country or even world is welcome, and we have many of them in attendance. So thank you for the people who are here coast to coast. But PG&E in Northern California has had 3 residential rate hikes this year. The price has increased by 21% this year, the last rate hike being in June. Another utility down in San Diego, SDG&E, has some of the highest cost of electricity in the country, right along with Southern California Edison. And outside of our state, Texas rates have skyrocketed 70%. 70%. It's just out of control in a lot of places. So solar eliminates those problems. It's also clean energy, and homeowners can pay 0 upfront. So no out-of-pocket costs. They can leverage the recently increased tax benefits. And now there's 16 states, that number is growing, that are offering renewable energy goals. So what does that mean? I always say that you're going to go solar whether you like it or not. And why not do it when there's incentives for you to be able to do that? Because that's the reality that we find ourselves in. These incentives are not going to be around permanently. So that's solar. The proposition is really phenomenal. And I want to show you how big it is. If you look at the United States of America, there are 130 million single family residences. From that, there are 90 million eligible for solar by today's standards that can go solar over time. That's today. But here's the fact, only 3.5 million or so have actually gone solar. So if you're looking if you're looking at this and you can do math or you can read because it says it on the screen right here, 4% of the eligible homes have made the shift to solar. Now, Bell Labs built the first solar panel back in 1958, and this year we've still got 87 million eligible households ready for someone to help them upgrade their homes with solar. And just in 2021, someone went solar every single minute. And those numbers are increasing, especially with the cost of energy coming up, and especially with the passing of the recent legislation in Washington, which is basically a roadmap for where power is headed. Let's listen to Buckminster Fuller. You look at that and you say, well, why isn't everyone going solar? And the two factors are, the first one is education. It's hard to get in front of people to be able to educate them. But what we really think is the biggest factor is the model. Solar has been largely the same for many years. 68 years solar has been in existence. The technology is pretty much the same, but the model hasn't shifted until Powur began that disruption. And based on Buckminster Fuller's incredible quote, to change things, don't try to fight the existing reality. Build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. And we'll give you some examples of that today. So that's what we believe it is. We believe that the model is making all the difference. And why we are winning is you look at the old way of doing business in a couple different industries versus the new platform. If you look at Walmart as an example now, someone mentioned earlier how many miles away they live from Walmart. That was an interesting gauge of where you live. Not only did Walmart do a better job in the later stages of emerging, but if you go back and you look at Walmart, or you look at a different, similar model, different business but similar model of Kmart, that never made the shift to the platform type of economy like Amazon. Take a look at the taxi industry. When was the last time you took a taxi, other than maybe if you were in New York or Las Vegas? Uber or Lyft is what everyone uses now. And then there's numerous other platforms that have disrupted industries. Now you go to Airbnb, you go to hotels.com, you go to Hotwire. It used to be you'd go to Blockbuster to rent a film, and now, if I go downstairs in my house, my kids are, watching Netflix or, any of the others that are out there today. You see that's, what happens in business, right? So now it happened in real estate as well. It happened to Prudential. Real estate companies out there, you've got a company that comes along with a platform very similar to Powur called EXP, which is now the fastest growing real estate company in the world because of platform technology. So platform technology, platform businesses are really what makes the difference. And that's the difference in the model of what we have at Powur. So this is exactly what Powur is doing in the solar industry. And we have created a platform to disrupt this industry once and for all. So if you look at why we're winning, so take that same comparison of what all those other companies have done and how they didn't merge into a platform, and then look at Powur. Why we're winning is we're taking the best of these solutions. We're helping the independent sellers get connected to installation partners and to homeowners, and the best financing solutions through a transparent cost of goods model. And I have never seen anything like this in the industry before Powur. So Powur actually shows you the true cost that it takes to buy the panel, to buy the racking, to buy the inverters, to buy everything. And they transparently display that to us. They offer us custom solutions that we can offer our homeowners with the leading equipment and financing partners and the best of the best in the industry. It gives the company buying power because there's over 7,000 active sellers on our platform today. We grew by over 1,200 last month, and that seems to be a consistent trend. So who do you think is going to be able to get the better buying power? It's going to be Powur based on the growth strategy that we have. And we've got a 30-year warranty to our homeowners, so they never have to worry about any out-of-pocket expenses. And once your homeowner is happy, and we know that they will be, you can enroll them for free as an ambassador, and they can become a source of referrals to you. As you get rolling, 65% or more of your business is going to come from referrals, particularly if you leverage the incredible ambassador referral program. So, all right. So, you may look at us and say, that sounds great. Maybe, I don't know if I could do this. I'm new to solar, maybe new to sales. Well, we did a survey of 6,000 of our sellers, and I want you to know that wherever you're coming from, we have that same level of experience on our platform and people who are being successful. So more than half of our sellers who are successful in the platform have zero experience. So more than half, have no sales experience on top of that. And you can, take a newbie on the lower right-hand corner of the screen, 100 installs at an average of $7,000, brand new to solar, also brand new to sales. And then you can look across the screen and see the other various types of people. And the reason being is we've created the platform to be able to help anyone. So no matter what your skill sets are, you have the tools necessary to leverage this platform and to grow. And what I'd like to do is to play a video for you that's going to walk you through the stories of some of these people who have leveraged the platform, and then we'll come back. So I'll fill in the gaps with this video. Stand by.
I just had my biggest winter in solar that I've had in 7 years. And coming from solar, having a big winter, that says a lot. My fiance quit his job last year, and now we both work from home with Powur. We're able to spend so much more time with our 3 children, and we're able to go on more vacations. I just bought myself a Tesla, and we also just entered escrow for a new home. I really feel like I'm living the dream life.
In just a few months working for Powur, I've discovered the real meaning of freedom, especially time freedom. I get to work my own hours, get to go to the gym whenever I want, and I get to spend time with my friends and family without having to take time off. I'm literally my own boss. On top of it, I've made more than ever before in my sales career.
Cada individuo que entra en Powur es como si fuera el propio dueño de su compañía solar. Porque Powur está enfocado en que cada uno de ustedes puedan lograr sus metas y sus sueños, pero a la misma vez que ayudamos a la adopción de la energía renovable al planeta. Me enamoré de ese trabajo porque ese trabajo me daba la libertad que no tenía en otros trabajos anteriores.
Other companies that I worked for had a terrible culture. I used to spend hours on the road driving from appointment to appointment for leads that just weren't that good. I was exhausted, I was overworked, money was tight, and I had to sell so many deals just to make a decent income. And there was time where I didn't know how I was going to pay the groceries.
Working for a boss in a big company was all I knew. At Verizon, I used to work 60 to 70 hour weeks with zero compensation for overtime. I'd wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, and start all over again. I had to request days off and I missed a lot of Christmas dinners with my family.
Nací en Puerto Rico, en el 2009 vine a los Estados Unidos por primera vez. Mi primer trabajo fue en un hotel, haciendo housekeeping con el que limpia los cuartos. En Texas comencé a trabajar con Target y H-E-B. Después conocí Coca-Cola. Cuando me hablaron de la energía solar en el 2018, busqué en Google acerca de los paneles solares. Él me introduce con Edgardo González y Edgardo me dice el plan y la estrategia que tenía para hacer crecer esto, y yo dije, yo quiero ser parte de eso.
My friend Jonathan Brunasso, who I had worked with in several of my past solar companies, told me about Powur and how I can generate my own leads and offer customers so much more than the other companies. It just felt different, and the culture was completely different from anything that I had experienced. We just got back from Mexico, where Powur partnered with Prosperity Homes and they took us on an all expenses paid trip. This is what I mean by the culture at Powur. No other company has ever done anything like that for me.
I won't lie, I was very skeptical in the beginning. Having spent my whole career as a W-2 employee, moving from guaranteed paychecks to 1099 was very, very scary for me. It was Jonathan, along with other great mentors, who convinced me that I should switch to essentially becoming an entrepreneur with Powur. When I started out in October 2021, I got help from a tier 3 sales partner to close my first few deals. Since then, I've closed 19 contracts in just a few months, and I've earned more than I ever have before.
I was blown away by how easy it is to enter a lead, and there's so much control that we have for customizing proposals for a homeowner. You can choose the type of equipment you want to offer them. You can choose the type of financing from so many options. And if you know they're getting a roof or an electrical panel, you can put that in right away. And there's so much control that we have to better serve homeowners.
You get the freedom of time and being your own boss, but you also become an expert in your field. The certification courses teach you everything you need to know, and if you ever have a question or need advice, you can dig into the knowledge base or even reach out to the thriving community of Powur sellers. I get to stick to what I do best, which is selling, and leaving the rest and brand messaging to Powur. It really is the best of both worlds.
Powur me dio la oportunidad de que sin dejar el trabajo que yo tenía, podía hacerlo part-time, y con el tiempo ese part-time podía darme esos ingresos que yo necesitaba para comprar mi casa, siempre y cuando yo cumpliera mis metas. Esa es la libertad que te ofrece Powur. Si tú tienes la oportunidad de alcanzar cada uno de tus sueños con algo que está ayudando a miles de personas a ahorrar dinero, ¿por qué decir que no?
I couldn't have imagined that I would be living the life I am now just 2 years into joining Powur, and I can't wait to see what we do next. My name is Cynthia Alvidrez, and I'm living a powered life.
My name is Jeff Hugh, and I'm living a powered life.
Mi nombre es William Contreras y este es mi Power Life.
So that's just a small sampling of the hundreds and hundreds of people who are living that powered life that many of us didn't think was possible. In an industry that has not typically given salespeople much control. So let's take a look at your opportunity. And I'll say these things, but I'm going to actually show you some of the assets and tools that have been available to you. This is a pretty big list right here, but I want you to look at the examples at the social media that we've got here. So, I have done a lot of business from social media, and Powur has done a great job at a lot of social media graphics and assets, and you can share those assets. You can share your personal links that drive traffic to your personal landing pages. Take a look at this information that's going to be flashing across the screen here for you. When you share your personal link, those landing pages, when they opt in, that information comes to you. That's a lead for you. whether it's a homeowner or a seller. So these are effective tools that you can leverage. There's brochures that you can edit. You can add your name, email address, phone numbers, personalize it, download it, make it a PDF, make it a flyer. You can email it or print it. There are a lot of different resources. There is even a postcard. You can actually upload addresses or select a radius in a neighborhood and mail it directly from the system. The cost of that postage is included as it's sent out. This is the dynamic proposal tool where you can size the system exactly to where the homeowner needs their system size in real time, virtually or in person. You can take it to the desired offset in solar, show them the economics, show them what's going to happen to their utility bill over time. And you're going to be able to show them savings. You can show them that this is an asset to their house. You can show them available credits. You can show them all of the incentives. You can get access to this incredible game-changing, platform. And in addition to the platform, we also have training. It's not just like you're taking tests and writing things. There's access to every tool that breaks down all the different incredible assets that we have access to. Knowledgeable people put information in knowledge base, and our 30-year Power Care warranty. There's great information on that as well, and assets. So that 30-year warranty provides peace of mind for people. 30-year end-to-end warranty. There's no out-of-pocket cost for the homeowner whatsoever. So Powur offers that under Powur's brand. And then there's all these partnerships that we have. All the major lenders, all the major manufacturers on our platform, and then the virtual site survey tool that gives you access to for you or a homeowner to do a site survey when a job is sold. You can take 8 to 10 photos, upload those, and it's going to speed up the installation process. It's also going to speed up how quickly you get paid. And even, like I said, the homeowner can do that as well. Then you drive everything into your dashboard. You're able to see, where's my business at? You can click on things to open up messages that might be there. You can see the trends in your business. You can see everything that you need to by clicking on buttons on the platform on your dashboard. And you can launch into your ambassador program. Ambassador program allows you to onboard homeowners or anybody who's touching a home. And Powur pays them $1,000 out of the commissionable revenue that would be sent to you. All these tools, and you can look at everything that's been popping up on the screen here. It's a business in a box is the way that I like to look at it. And I want to show you really, we've looked at some of the assets and training and, this incredible platform. All of that's just the beginning. Now we want to talk about how to earn money in the platform. Money is earned from several different pathways. The first one is, if you look at your personal sales, you earn 70% of the margin. The average project is $6,000, and that's paid out daily. Now, some companies, they pay you out on a Friday for everything you did the previous Monday through Sunday. Powur pays every single day. And when you first get started, you might have heard Jeff in that video that we watched together talk about how he worked with a tier 3 seller, your partner. Sales have to be done in your first 3 projects. Sales mentors are used, or a tier 3 seller is done in your first 3 projects if you're a non-solar pro, or 1 project if you're a solar pro. And on that project or those projects, you'll split the commission 50-50, which is, by the way, still more than most solar companies are paying to do the entire project. You get access to the revenue share also, where you can earn on projects in levels. Anyone in your team down 6 levels, you receive between 150 and $550. And that's paid out every Friday. So my wife knows when it's Friday because I show her the text messages that they coming in on revenue share. So there's literally hundreds of people who have built a passive 6 to 7 figure income by helping others. It's really you giving back, but the reward is you earn passive income from everything that they do. And then there's stock options. Powur believes in entrepreneurship. They want you to be an owner in Powur. So you'll receive stock options for basic minimum milestones. It's got exponential growth here, as you can see, and it's up to you. So that's a snapshot of how you get paid, but we all start as a tier 1 seller. And to keep it simple, we're going to talk about this in a little bit in some of our training as well, but you want to follow 3 things. Get it, submit it, tag it. Get an electric bill submitted to the platform, tag a tier 3 selling partner, and then earn while you learn with an average of over $3,500 per project per home. Again, that's 1 if you're a solar pro, 3 if you're a non-solar pro. You're also eligible to refer others if you want to have that revenue share and to earn stock options. Let's look at tier 2. This is where you can now close your own deals. You've finished working with a sales partner and your average commission is going to be $6,000 or $7,000 per project. You remain eligible for revenue share. You remain eligible for stock options. It's here where people, will often, if they're not already, make the transition to full-time, because you can start at any amount of time that you want to be working your business, but this is where people's income can really climb significantly. After that, there is tier 3. And then if you desire, you can advance to the tier 3 seller. That's a sales partner network where you earn an average of $6,000 or $7,000 on each project that you create. And then you'll also be able to earn half of that on each project that you're paired to help with another seller to close their first 1 to 3 deals. So it's a fabulous pathway for people. And really, to me, it's one of the best types of income that I receive because I'm helping somebody and I'm getting rewarded while they're getting rewarded. So they're earning and learning. Last section here is the training. I showed you some of the snippets from inside our knowledge base. Our university is absolutely the best I've seen. It's going to really change the industry's level of knowledge. And what the industry has needed for a long time is more knowledge. You may have experienced that in California, which has been door knocked extensively. If you've talked to anyone at your door about solar, the odds are you've talked to somebody that needed just a little bit more knowledge. So we've got some of the best training I've seen, truly interactive, and you're going to find a lot of people coming to Powur just to get the training. So beyond that, we have set many new standards. I want you to look at this trajectory of growth here. And we started in 2014 as a lead generation company. And look at what the forecast is for this year. So, and it happened as we evolved, and we went through several evolutions. So started as a lead gen company in 2014. In 2020, we disrupted the industry by launching the cost of goods model. And that really wasn't well received by the rest of the industry. It became incredibly well received by solar consultants, what they learned about it, but it wasn't understood by the industry because they weren't necessarily familiar with the term. They were using something called a red line, a different model. Well, that hit us with explosive growth in 2021, and that allowed us to do a crowdfund. So Powur went back out to the community of sellers and said, hey, we want you to have the ability to invest into your own company and be a future owner of this company, a bigger, owned company by the people. So what happened is it broke every record in the crowdfunding industry. In 2022, we launched a virtual site survey app and an on-demand site survey app. We launched Enterprise, which is now a little over 13% of our business in just 6 months. And Enterprise is a game changer. It allows us to bring organizations in, allows us to bring installers into the platform, allows us to bring companies in. It's a different pathway for them, but it's an incredible way for you, if you know business owners, to help them leverage the Powur platform. So that's how we recently made it to the Inc. 5000 list for a third year in a row. Most recently, Powur was listed as the fastest growing national solar company and ranked 43 out of 32 million private businesses in America. I do have to say there's solar companies out there that are claiming bigger install numbers than us, but as someone who's been in the industry for a while and reads financial reports, they're bleeding financially. I'll just put it that way. So you've heard about the industry, the potential that's out there. You've heard about how we have the most flexible and affordable solutions for homeowners. You've heard how this lucrative model offers the highest earning potential with 5 streams of income. We heard about how rapidly we've grown, and we've been able to scale across the nation, and we've been able to be profitable that whole time. You've heard about the technology, how leveraging the platform can allow you to have economy of scale. I have, when I was looking at Powur with a couple friends of mine, we were moving towards starting our own solar company, and the cost of just the software alone to start up and to have a company was just so much more than what I pay with my Powur account right now. So Powur doesn't want us to be being marketing gurus. They don't want us creating assets. They want us to be focused on helping people go solar and not on creating things that we need for our business. They want to create and have created them for us. But what you haven't heard about yet is the team and the culture. And that's the last section here, because I think it's important to know who is behind what we do. And this next video is going to introduce you to Jonathan Budd, our CEO and founder, and the journey that Jonathan went through to do everything that you saw on the past few slides, and to take us from a lead gen company to where we are today. And then I'll come back and we'll wrap things up here. So let's move into this video with Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Budd. I'm the CEO and founder of Powur. And if you made it this far, you've probably heard incredible reasons to join our company already. But I want to take a minute to share with you where this company really came from. 12 years ago, 2010, I was making lots of money. I had a successful digital publishing company, but something was missing. And I really wanted the work that I actually do every day to be making a difference, to be helping to solve some of the challenges going on our planet. And I got a call one day from my friend Jim Bunch, and he said, "Hey man, I'm going on this trip with this organization, the Pachamama Alliance, and I think you should come. Can you come to the Amazon rainforest?" For some strange reason, I said yes. So I went down to the Amazon rainforest with the Pachamama Alliance, spending time with this culture that has no concept of trash, that has lived for thousands of years in that forest. And down there, in the middle of a ceremony with one of the elder shamans of this tribe, the vision for Powur came to me. What I knew in that moment was that I was meant to come back and start an organization, the first of its kind, that was going to figure out how to enable anyone to earn their livelihood and participate in the clean energy or solar revolution. And it took me almost 10 years to really figure out what it was, following the clues and the signs that has ultimately led to where we are today, which is this absolutely disruptive platform for the solar energy industry. Powur is truly here to make the biggest difference we possibly can, aiding our world in becoming sustainable, getting as much carbon out of the atmosphere as possible, and delivering the next generation of infrastructure that society is going to be built on. Now, on top of that, our purpose is to reward financially the people who make that happen more than they ever have been in their lives before. We have this fundamental belief that if you get paid really well to do good, then you're going to do more good. The vision for Powur is to build the largest clean energy platform on planet Earth. And I think the potential for Powur is to truly be a global distributed energy utility that is delivering essential services that we all need for survival at breakthrough costs. This is not just solar power. This is solar power plus storage so that we can become our own utility and we're truly grid independent. This is transportation, whether that's electric vehicles or other forms of transportation that are coming. This is, of course, our appliances and the electrification of the home. This is how we grow food, how we source water. All of these are going to be challenges in the future, and technologies are enabling a new type of way to meet these needs. So this is an incredibly exciting time, and the platform is just in its infancy. And we're now getting to the point where we're able to add so many different types of installers, whether it's HVAC contractors, roofers, solar installers, all of the infrastructure that we need to live in a sustainable world, save money, and lower our carbon footprint. This platform is going to be able to sell and fulfill. I truly think this represents a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and there is no other company, not one, that is close to where we are today in giving you the opportunity to participate. Powur is owned truly by the people. We have now done 2 record-breaking crowdfunding rounds in which we let every single person in our ecosystem become equity owners of the company. In addition, we offer stock options to every single person who joins the company if they hit certain performance criteria. And we want it that way because truly our purpose here is to shift as much wealth to the people who are building the clean energy economy as we possibly can. This is truly the time to leave your mark. This is the time to go big, to make your dreams come true, to build that career, that lifestyle, that best life that you've envisioned for yourself, making a difference, doing it with people you love, and creating the financial prosperity that you know is possible for you. So, it's been my honor to meet you and share with you a little about the vision, origin, and purpose of Powur. Now it's your turn to join this amazing company, and let's go out there and accelerate the adoption of sustainable energy together.
Not hard to see why we like Jonathan Budd as our CEO and leader. He has created an amazing company, a reputable platform built to last. He's truly a visionary founder, and he's built an executive team that is the best of the best. We've taken people from top companies, you know, as they've seen Jonathan, they've seen his vision. They seem to want to join what we're doing and innovate. Paul Winowski, former president and COO of Sunrun, as an example, is now on our board of directors. Ethan Miller, former COO over at SunPower. So the biggest competitors are looking at Powur and seeing what we are doing. There's more names that I could list, but along with that comes, 50, 60 other, key people who have come from different places in industry to help us build what we are building. All right, so now let's take a look at things a little bit differently here. So it's not always about money. That's what some people, of course, want to know about, but it's really about impact. And Powur balances purpose with profitability. If you look at this slide, Powur is a dual benefit company, a public benefit corporation, and a certified B corporation. And there's rigid rules on how they operate for good. And there's about 20 companies worldwide that are a part of that certified B corporation program. And not only that, what we've done to offset carbon emissions through ecology and Pachamama Alliance really sets our company apart. So that's, I shared my why earlier about, what got me into solar and, why I have stayed working in solar with my kids' health and air quality. And this is so important to me that we are using our scale to do good. The first company to actually offset the pollution and environmental impact from the manufacturing and installation of solar panels was Powur. So obviously solar panels make clean energy, but there's an environmental footprint from making and installing them. Powur was the first company to offset that. So the other thing is we've got great ratings across the internet. Let me skip this slide here. There we go. We've got great ratings across the internet, and it makes sense that we would too. When you take an old electric bill from $770 on the left-hand side of the screen, and in Kernville, California, somebody has a $14 bill after they go solar, go take a look at your favorite restaurant on Yelp and see how people talk about that food, how people love that food. People are going to be talking about you and your solar work as well. So we've got great ratings across the internet, and I want to show you, I want you to think about the opportunity of 87 million eligible homes. And I guess the question you should ask yourself is, what part of that is going to be yours? It's there for the taking. How big could your impact be? And how big could your income be by creating that income? That could lead you to a shift of freedom, not only financial freedom, that's a wonderful thing, but time freedom, location freedom, inner freedom that comes from being an impact entrepreneur and improving the lives of others. We reap what we sow. That is one of the reasons oftentimes you see many of us, I don't have it on right now, but some of our other leaders and co-hosts here have them on, those freedom shirts. It says freedom across the front of it. And it's your decision. That's what you have to think about. The way you can do that is by getting on this platform. You've heard about where our industry is headed. One home every minute going solar in 2021. You get access to something that I wish that I would have had back when I started in solar in 2006. Here's where we are for the Powur platform. You onboard for $99. You pay $85 a month for the technology that provides you with everything you need. The most robust solar sales fulfillment software suite that you just saw, with a cost of goods model that no one else is going to show you the pricing for. Powur will take care of all of the invoicing, all of the software, the financing, the solutions, all the tools, every training bit that you need to be successful in your business. And you've seen the culture as well. You've seen in this brief time together on Zoom, you've seen how we interact with each other a bit. You'll see that as we continue on in our training, but you'll see how we interact and help each other. So that's the way that you can get on board here. $99 onboarding, then $85 a month for access to the platform. So I'm going to end my portion here in just a minute, but I'd like to say, get back with the person who invited you to this Zoom today, get any questions answered, get their enrollment link, and stick around. We're going to take a 10-minute break here, but we're going to come back for training on how to get started on the platform. We have 4 gentlemen who are enjoying some of the freedoms that we talked about. You're going to learn from Scott, Eoin, Jarrett, and Bill what to do to get started to sell your first solar project. It's one heck of a ride. We're building this rocket ship in flight, which is why behind me you may see a flickering rocket that's sitting on the shelf. But it's been the best journey of my career, and I believe it will be my last, and I mean that in a positive way. So get with the person who invited you, get your questions answered, get their enrollment link, and stick around because we're going to do a training in 10 minutes on how to get started. And even if you don't join, you're welcome to stick around for the training and maybe find out how you can start your business on the Powur platform.
Right on. Great job, Tom. That was awesome. So yeah, everybody, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. And yeah, when we come back, we got some killer training for you guys. So stick around. All right. Tom, you got some of that cool funky music to play while we're doing a little break?
I'm turning it on right here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Power up.
Cool, man. Now's a good time to use the restroom as well. I'm going to take advantage of that.
compadre.
Alex, if you're on here, I'm getting our 2 o'clock appointment proposal dialed in right now as we speak.
All right, everybody, we're going to get started here. This is your 1-minute warning.
You get one of those clocks, timers will count down, Tom, the next one.
Yes.
What's up, my brother? I see you.
Look at John sneaking in here.
Okay. All right.
Welcome
everybody.
back. Welcome back. I want to introduce our next guest to you. Mr. Scott Crumb is located in Fresno, California. He's been in solar for an amazing 9 years. That's a long time to be in solar. He's been in sales for his whole career. Originally started out in software and programming, and then shifted into the solar business and has not looked back. So you all are in for a treat with Scott. He is super successful, has just come into the Powur platform, done I want to say all the right things, but he may disagree with you. He may disagree with me there a little bit, but he's just killing it on the Power platform. So, Scott, glad you are here, and looking forward to your training right now.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. 9 years this November 1st for me. 9 years. I mean, that's nothing like Tom. I consider myself an OG. 16 years is a true OG. But I guess I'm up and coming OG. A little bit about myself. Tom told you that I've been in sales most of my whole life. That's true. I mean, I remember selling lemonade when I was a kid, and I've really sold everything ever since. I fell into the solar world 9 years ago by happenstance. Literally fell into it. I was looking for a job. I went to a place. They offered me a position. The next day they said, "We don't want to hire you for this position. We want you to sell solar instead." And I'm like, "Solar? Why would I do that?" They said, "Well, just trust us. Just go for it. If you don't like it, you can always change your mind." Wow, what a great decision that was. Doing this for 9 years, and you're going to see 4 other people on here besides me talking. We all have a lot of experience. We can write our own ticket. The Toms of the world, myself, everybody you're going to be hearing, we literally can work for any company. Every solar company out there wants us. They want a Scott, they want a Tom, they want a Bill, they want a Eoin, they want a Jarrett. These are professionals, people who kick butt. And yet we choose Powur. Why? Why do we choose Powur when we have the pick of the litter? Well, because it is the pick of the litter. And I can tell you that for me personally, it was a simple choice. When I came into Powur, I was looking for something different. I had seen how solar was done for literally 8 years. I literally joined Powur. I signed up December of last year. I started actually doing work January, February. So we're talking a short period of time. And in that time, it's just blown up. My business has blown up. But for me, it was the honesty of the company. It was the transparency of the company. It was the ability to be face forward. I mean, they're literally trying every day, every week, every month to make their program better, to help us, individual salespeople who own our own business. We are independent sales reps, make our job easier, our job better, make it smoother. There's always bumps in the road when you have businesses, but every time I turn around, they're doing something to improve things, doing something to make my job easier and more profitable. And be honest with you, I'm in the business to make money. I love helping people. I love doing a lot of things, but the bottom line is I like to pay my bills. So for me, this was a real easy choice. If you could go to the next slide there, Tom. See if where we're at here. There's a couple things I want to show you guys. I guess one of my questions, we're putting, make sure we go a couple more slides up there to where the business plan is going to be. My question to you, the people watch this right now, is why are you here? Seriously, why are you here? I'm assuming that you're looking for something different, but you need to figure out your why. If you get one more slide there, Tom, that'd be great. You need to figure out what you're trying to accomplish and why. There's a business plan that if you scan this little, what do we call those little things right there, there's a plan here that's going to help you make decisions on this stuff. And the people that brought you in will help you go through this plan. I encourage you to scan this, both English and Spanish, have this available to you. It is a great training tool to help you figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it in this business plan. Or you want to start off as on the side while you're working someplace else, grow it slowly. You want to jump in with both feet, and just go in for it and be a full-time job. But then you have to say, well, if I do this, how's this going to work? Am I going to get the support I need? Am I going to get the training I need? And the answer is yes. It's all available to you. The support and the training is off the charts amazing. And that's a big reason of the why I'm here. I know that if I have a question or something I don't know, it's at my fingertips. I have thousands, not dozens, not hundreds, thousands of training tools available to me, videos and weekly training every single week. Another big part of my why, another part of why I chose Powur over every other company out there. There's a gentleman out there, Charles Jones, who has said, where you will be in 5 years are the people you meet and the books you read. And I use that quote a lot, but I changed it. I changed it a little bit. I Scottified it. I say that where you're going to be in 5 years are the people you associate with, not meet, but actually hang out with, do with, and the books you read. I can't force you to read a book. Matter of fact, I find that with today's video world, most people aren't reading books anymore. But I can introduce you to some people in this business that will help you, that you should associate with. The people who invited you to this, without a doubt, would be on this list. The people that you're going to see talk right here are people you should be associating with. Because if you don't change the books you read and the people you associate with, in 5 years, you will be exactly in the same place you are right now. Nothing will change. Matter of fact, realistically, you'll probably be further down where you are right now if that doesn't change. But I'm going to simplify this a little bit. Let's change this to 1 year. Let's make it simple for you. Where do you want to be in 1 year? Have you thought about this? And why? Why do you want to be there, and where do you want to be? Now, you're not going to answer that question right now, probably. Some of you guys have some ideas. Some of you men and women have ideas in your head right now. Okay, this is where I'd like to be. This book is going to help you. This goal, this business plan is going to help you. You're going to decide your own. This will write you in here, but it's going to help walk you through your reasons what I'm trying to accomplish, how to get there, and who is going to help me. Who's going to hold my hand? I promise you, it's these people right here, the people that you're talking to, the people who brought you here. And so this is available to you. It is so empowering. You just have to pick it up and run with it. Another thing I like to tell people is you can't hit a target you can't see. So as you start writing down these things, you got to start creating some of these goals. If you don't set goals, I promise you, every one of the people you're talking to today have written goals. If you don't have goals, you cannot hit the target. These are life lessons. These are nothing simple. I mean, everybody, you guys have heard this before, and all you already even know this deep in your heart. But it's amazing. Less than 5% of the population write down their goals. And guess what? Less than 5%, less than 5% of the population is actually very happy and very successful with where they are in life with their job and what they're trying to accomplish. So I'm gonna encourage you to use this, figure out your why, figure out your goals, start a plan. So with that, I'm gonna kind of go to me, my why. Why did I do this? And it started out with me when I was working for another company, very successful, loved it. And it came down to what I wanted to accomplish. And one of them was freedom. I was tired of working for somebody else. I was tired of playing by somebody else's rules, worrying about what we used was a red line type format where they told me what they thought everything was worth. And if I made any money above that, I got to keep some of it, not even all of it. And then those numbers were always changed. It was always like, well, how did that happen? And why did my commission be only $800? I thought it was going to be $3,200. And it was always in question. With this company, I have freedom. I now have control. I actually get to set my pricing, and everything is completely in front of me. I can see every single cost. I get to control my business. For me, that's freedom. I work when I want to work. I just went on a 25-day trip, 7 days in Vegas, 5 days in Dallas, and then the rest was South Carolina and Georgia. And people go, well, that must be nice. You can just do a 25-day trip. I said, yeah, it was fantastic. And I worked almost every day that I was there. I had my laptop with me. I'm able to take my job with me wherever I go. There are people in this company that live in the beach of Mexico, working from the beach, making a fantastic living. So I'm taking another trip. I leave actually in 6 days. This one's 12 days. I'm going to see the Raiders and Titans play in Tennessee, and then also other places, South Carolina, Georgia again. And I'm going to be having an amazing time. Every day I party and every day I work. And while I'm on this trip, I'll have this computer with me, this simple little laptop. I'll be closing sales and helping people learn how to do this business. So freedom was a huge part of my why. I'm a natural helper. I teach people. I've been a teacher in one way or another my whole life. I was a coach for many, many years. And so it's in my heart, in my blood to help people. That's a big part of my other why. It's just, I very much enjoy seeing people see the light bulb, get excited, make that next step. So a big part of my why was actually helping people. It brings me much, much more joy than I could even tell anybody. I think it started off being a coach. I never thought I was going to be a coach in my life. One of those things that you kind of fell into. My oldest son wanted to play soccer. He was 4. They said, we need a coach. I'm like, I don't know how to coach soccer. I never even played soccer before in my life. They said, great, we have a class for you. 14 years later, I was one of the most sought after coaches in Northern California. It wasn't by plan. I fell into it, and then I felt that it was one of the things I was supposed to do in life. For me also, this is a built-in retirement plan. By building my team, by helping other people be successful, I have a ongoing income that's going to be coming into my life for the rest of my life. So that's gigantic. Being in sales my whole life, I got some nice retirement plans set up. They're okay. They're not spectacular, I'll tell you that. This is making it spectacular. So freedom, helping others, my retirement plan, these are my whys. And as these other gentlemen speak here today, they're going to share some of their whys. Their whys aren't the same as mine. Your whys are not the same as mine. You have your own why. And if you don't know what it is, use the workbook. Use the people who brought you in here. Start thinking about why I want to be where I'm going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, how I'm going to get there, what tools I'm going to use. Is Powur the tool? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's another tool. I don't know. I don't care what the tool is. For you, you need to figure out what it is, what your why is, what the tool you're going to use to get there, and who is going to help you. One of the people who could help you is going to be our next speaker, Eoin Carey. This guy has helped me. This guy was in the business before I was, and he taught me how to use a lot of things in this platform. This is a sales professional, but COVID forced him into the business. One of those things, other curveballs, right? You never know. I've seen this gentleman answer the phone at late night, early morning to help people he never even met before. This guy goes out of his way to help other people. An amazing man, and somebody I consider a very, very good friend. May have shared a drink or two with him once or twice. Eoin, the floor is yours.
Thank you for that, Scott. You guys can hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Perfect. I'm excited to be here today. And Scott, I appreciate it. And you're a good friend. You gave me a good reason to drive down to Fresno and have some drinks one time. It was all business, of course, a nice business write-off. Let me start off by giving a little background about myself here. I have a funky spelling of my name. Yes, the E is silent. It's an Irish spelling. I'm actually an Irish immigrant. I've been in sales for about 8 years now. And like Scott said, I had to pivot out into the solar industry. A little background on that. When I graduated college, I went to a solar company to apply for an entry-level position. It was a company called Solar City. And I did the interview and they said, sorry, you don't have enough experience. And I said, well, what are we doing here? This is an entry-level position. Let me prove myself to you. Sure enough, it didn't work out. And when I lost my position because of COVID, I always wanted to get into the solar industry. I think it's the future. It's how we're going to do things. After COVID, I joined another solar company, Redline model. Hated it. There was no education. You didn't have the opportunity to become a sales pro. So then when I found Powur, I was like, great prices and the education, everybody was professional. It was definitely where I fell in, and things have been fantastic. Let me start with my why though. A month before the pandemic, my son was born, and I want to be the dad that helped change the planet. Right now, if I ask you guys, if you don't have solar at your house, in your office, where is that energy coming from? Okay, most people can't answer that question. It might be coming from 500 miles away. That's not sustainable. With solar, what's so cool is we are actually the start of a foundation to change the grid. We are not producing enough energy. The demand for electricity is increasing, but the supply is staying pretty constant. we have the chance to increase the supply to the grid. Think about how cool that is. We are literally changing the grid and how we produce energy. If you don't think that's cool, I don't know what you're doing here. Okay, you can make fantastic money for my child in the future and then also build a foundation. Okay, I heard a quote from M-Phase. Thomas Edison could walk down our street right now and tell you all the equipment that we are using on our grid because he invented it. Okay, the time to invent and change is right now. So what I'm going to do today is go over a training on the utility bill training. I know we're kind of going over a general scale of California. For the most part, San Diego Gas Electric, Edison. My graphics here are going to include PG&E. So very similar, all kind of monopolies, all getting away with murder from the CPUC. But let's hop into it so you can understand your utility bill. This is a graphic here. This is a PG&E bill. Of course, for my client's protection, I covered up their account number and address. When you look at the bill here, you can see current electric charges and current gas charges. So this is something that's always changing. If you just got here late, Tom was mentioning earlier, we've already had price increases of 20% this year in PG&E. Some people say, why? Okay, we can blame the utility, but the reality is the cost of gas. We are literally seeing cost of increase in fuel because of wars that are thousands of miles away. I mean, how silly is that we have solar and light hitting our house all day that can produce energy? So that is why PG&E is in trouble and most utilities. It's not that they are ripping people off in reality, but it also, there is a crisis of supply. So if you can go to the next slide here for me, Tom. So we could talk about the electric meter. As you may or may not recall, there was a time about 10, 12 years ago, we switched over to smart meters. Part of the purpose was to get away from getting, sorry, La. So you can get away from, you can read energy. We used to have meter man that come and read your meter. So now smart meters, everything is done electronically, but it also gives you the chance for excess energy of your solar system to be recorded when it's put back into the grid. So I like to think of that like a bank. When I tell my clients during the day, if you're not home, you produce excess energy, that's going to go back to the grid, and you're actually recording units to be used later at night, almost like a debit. So you create credits to debit at night on a more micro scale. And then if you go next slide here, Tom. So when it comes to your house, what are the 5 biggest consumptions that homeowners have? We have air conditioning and heating. Sometimes on this note too, homeowners will feel guilty. PG&E makes people feel guilty about using energy at their home and their comfort. So I think as sales professionals, we need to comfort them and let them know they should never feel guilty for using the energy in their house. Okay, when they work hard, and if you're in California, everyone has to work hard. People should not feel guilty for using energy in their houses, especially in air conditioning. As we have experienced the heat wave, 2 weeks ago now, and now it's about to rain, kind of a crazy climate we're in. People were told we don't produce enough energy, and that is reality. But people with solar, if they're using the air conditioning and heating, they shouldn't feel bad about it. That's directly coming from their roof. You have water heating, of course, which technology is getting better in that realm. Appliances, more and more appliances in your home are turning into electric. We have lighting, television. Another big factor in here that I'd say is another 6 that is coming is electric vehicles. As we know, California has changed the rules and laws. I'll tell you right now, if we switch all to electric vehicles today, we would be in deep trouble because we don't produce enough energy. So as I say, we're starting the foundation. The more and more solar energy that's produced, the more that will be in the grid. So why is learning how to read an electric bill important? Let me explain here. You can see my screen here. This is what a homeowner does when they get a PG&E bill or a utility bill. They don't want to open it. They open it and they just pay it. Your job on your presentation is always to guide them, to have them understand the bill. So why is learning how to read it is important, and then you can be the expert and explain things on the bill that they've never seen about. It's also important for another factor, and this is something I make very important to my clients or future clients. I need the bill, but I'm not looking for your cost. I'm looking for kilowatt hours. I need to discover how much energy we need this solar system to produce. So that's an important factor. Think about it. You're asking someone for a bill. If someone asks you to see your credit card bill, you'd be a little uncomfortable. So think about how they would think about it. Explaining why you need the bill and why it's important is switching that from I need to find kilowatt hours. I'm not looking at cost. Cost is important. So solar is the third most important decision a homeowner will make in their lifetime. This is an asset that will be on their home. And let's face it, it's a pretty expensive asset. And one thing I always tell my clients is I ask them what their loan is with PG&E or what that is with the utility. And of course, it's not a loan, but you show them what they're going to spend over the next 25 years. With the proposal tool, you can actually see that. So kind of getting over the sticker shock, that is a good way you can do it. But yes, it's a really good investment, and you can see the family there. So the homeowner value proposition, I think there's a couple other sections on here as well. So what you want to do is equate the value to them. So from a bill, you're going to get the household kilowatt hour consumption. Another factor there is a very important question of their future plans. PG&E, Edison, and SDG&E allows us to build larger systems. So you do want to have I call it my baseline kilowatt hours that I want for the year. And I'll explain that to a homeowner. I always suggest to use Google Sheets. It's a very powerful tool. You can show them your math and then add on, use it in your back pocket if they are analytical. And you explain if they add electric vehicle and other things. That's an important factor. So utility cost per kilowatt is a very important factor to point out to people. I commonly tell people we are paying 38 cents per kilowatt hour. I ask them, do you know if we were in Nevada, what that cost would be? Explaining how much it is overkill of how much we get paid out here. And then I show what our kilowatt hour production is on the design and how we are going to have excess energy or trying to explain in that room. When it comes to finance, I like to think of things in trainings. Understanding solar is a very important section to being a solar pro. Understanding financing is huge. So paying attention to those finance companies and how they work and how they're different from one another is another training I would strongly recommend. And when you can talk numbers with people, you are going to separate yourself from all the competition. I can guarantee that. So why we need the electric bill, I kind of was going into this already, is to fund a solar contract. In addition to that, utilities are going to require this bill. It's going to have the account number, it's going to have the meter number, and also utility requires this. And then to determine the size of your system. We can use the graph. There's a way we can do that. So if anyone wants to find out how to use that graph and translate it to kilowatt hours. But what I've done in my presentation is I always try to have the homeowner log into PG&E when we're already doing the proposal. And in addition to that, Solo gives you the ability to adjust your proposal on the fly. So keep that in mind. And then you can adjust your system once you have the actual real numbers. So how to read your electric bill. Let's go with the key takeaways here. I think there's some other slides, sections there, Tom. As far as the takeaways, going ahead there, make sure, I think the most important factor, especially if I have a lot of mentees knocking on doors, explain why you need the bill. as I mentioned before, you're asking somebody for a bill. It seems personal. So explaining that you're looking for kilowatt hours and cost and other factors are not what you're looking for. And you can't really do anything with the utility bill except pay the bill for them. So when it comes to contract review, this is an important factor to keep our ethics and integrity of power important, is that we need the homeowner's full name and address, a bill that is no older than 6 months, the total bill amount, and how many kilowatt hours were consumed in those billing cycles. I will tell you, the important part of the bill is page 1 and page 3. Page 3 is going to tell you kilowatt hours consumed. Page 1 is going to tell you how much it costs for that energy. You can review, go to the next scene. So what our contract review team is, they're going to verify delivery charges and other fees to make sure that we were accurately explaining their true cost. So making sure that's up to date on the proposal is important. And just a few for all the folks out there, take total cost and divide it by kilowatt hours. You're going to have your cost per kilowatt hour, and you want to make sure that is accurately being displayed on the proposal tool. For those of you who are newer, when you're on the proposal tool, you can live update it and you just click. So just click on anything. That tool has a lot of interaction. As I was pointing out earlier, I did have the person's information on the bottom there. So I'm for the blackouts here. So this is an electric bill.
71. Ooh, it's kind of rain. Yeah.
Eli, I appreciate you. It includes the customer's
81.
information.
32,
Sure, Bill. So it includes their information. It will include their address, as you can see here. Luckily, that's my best friend's wife, so hopefully she doesn't get too mad. It's going to include their information to plug it in, and it includes that graph. So on the graph, as you can see, it has the bars, and it provides a cost per month. As a reminder here, it does include gas as well on this graph. So if you are going to go with that metric, you need to subtract gas as you use the graph. We can go to the next slide here. So on page 3, this is another important page. You can see here on a PG&E bill, you're going to see total usage of $723 or 723 kilowatt hours, and then you're going to see our cost, which is going to be divvied up by tiers, which is actually, most people are changed over to time of use. We'll go to the next slide here. So in SoCal Edison, that is just going to include electricity, but for San Diego Gas and Electric and PG&E, you have to divvy out and change out the gas. Gas is not, we cannot take care of gas unless they get a dual heat pump and other devices like that. So they include supply and distribution. So so we go to the next slide here, Tom. If we look at this bill here, we have 2 parts of electricity. We have $35.68 from Sonoma Clean Energy, which is $35.68. And then it costs $92 to get that to you. That sounds like a really bad pizza delivery. So imagine your pizza costs $35 and to get it to you, it was $92. And that's how PG&E is charging folks. I will give you the heads up. When people log on to their PG&E bill, they're not going to include, PG&E does not include this cost. So sometimes your homeowners can be, they're being misguided by the utility. It will say it was $92, but you have to include this second generation charge. So that's a very important factor as well. Sonoma Clean Energy, I'll ask folks, what do you think this is, right? It's energy people, utilities are buying from other solar clients or solar farms. So when you have excess energy, it goes to the grid, they buy it at a cheaper cost, and then as you can see, they are ripping off the homeowner at that point. Now let's go down to the breakdown of charges. As someone in Sonoma County, and unfortunately, I think most of us in this state have been affected by fires. The big one that usually gets my clients really upset here is we have a wildfire fund charge, wildfire hardening charge. I know plenty of people in Sonoma County, when the lawsuit hit PG&E, everyone was excited, oh, they have to pay this money. But as you can see, the homeowner is now paying this charge. And we also have this funny one here. We have a nuclear power plant that's being decommissioned. We have Energy Cost Recovery Act. I don't even know what that is, but there's just a lot of silly things on this invoice, which if we were in a business and send this kind of invoice, we'd be getting a lot of questions. Most homeowners never look at this. This is on the final page of a PG&E bill, but it's always a really good one to point out to your client. And that leads into why it's important to understand the bill and explain the bill to them, because now they're going to get pretty upset with the utility about this. They already lost trust, and now they're going to lose even more trust with PG&E and our other utilities in the state.
Oh, and let me jump in here for just a second and let you take a drink of water, as you've been doing a great job here in the training. So if this is your friend's electric bill, I'd like for you to thank them for their donation of $14.12 to Edison High School in Fresno, California, for that electric public purpose program right in the middle of your list there. So I've been an advisor and a speaker out at the Green Academy at Edison High School in Fresno that is completely funded by PG&E. So thank your friend for their forced donation of $14 to the Green Academy.
I'll let them in, as Eli pointed out. I didn't block out their information. So please don't go knocking on my friend's door in Sacramento there, West Sacramento. But yes, it's kind of, I just wish there was clarity on this, which it's totally lacking. And the nuclear decommissioning one is kind of a funky one to me too. As you can see too, what PG&E will do is they'll put the negative sign. They put negatives all over their bills all the time. So homeowners think they're getting money back, but they're just being reimbursed for overpaying previous months. If we can go here to the next slide. So what's very important in California is that we offer net metering. I was discussing a little bit earlier about smart meters. Excess energy goes back to the grid. You create a unit, you can use that unit at night, and then avoided cost. There are some, there is going to be a connection fee with PG&E. It's about $10 to $18 a month. And then we are not month to month, we're actually on an annual true up in PG&E territory. Edison and San Diego Gas are as well. And what's important to understand is that what's going to happen is that 12 months from the day your system is turned on, they're going to assess how much you took from the grid versus how much you put back. And a true up, which people have bad stories about, is that if you do not produce enough energy compared to what you consume, you will get a one-time bill at the end of the year. And this is a very important factor to explain to your clients. And also, it's an important factor to build your system out correctly. There's another factor of time of use. We can talk about time of use quite a bit, but what that leads to is that your units, as far as when they go back into the grid, will be worth a certain a higher value from 4 to 9. We'll go to the next slide here. So this is what I was discussing earlier. If you log into PG&E, you can actually get the bill, but I would encourage you to have them go into energy details. On the energy details, you switch to yearly view and have them go slide by bar by bar to get usage. In the meantime, discuss or write down what they are consuming each month on an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. That way you have that information. But yes, getting the bill is important, but equally with PG&E and most of the utilities in California, they've actually made it difficult to obtain total usage. So if you have them log in, I highly recommend you go into energy details. Go here. So this is an example of a client of mine. Looks like I actually blocked off their information here of what their bill looks like. And this is something I show to my clients quite frequently, what to expect. As you can see, we have current PG&E electric monthly charges, $9.32. That's our connection fee. Gas, I can't do anything about that. That's still going to be what it is. And as you see here, it's going to have their true up information. This is all on page 1. When we go to page 3, what you're going to see is how much energy they took versus how much they consumed. December and January, you can see they consumed more than they produced. But as we go to these months with more sunshine, we had a total of extra energy, 1991, thrown into the grid. And as it says here, they would get some money back. They're going to get credits. We ultimately want to build the design for the future, which this client actually is getting an electric vehicle. So we have excess energy for that reason. It's important to guide your client and show them how this works, even on the post sale. And that's how you get referrals. So we go to the next page here. So key takeaways. As you know, why do we need the electric bill? Hopefully that makes sense to you now. And what makes this so important to you of understanding the utility bill? This is absolutely critical information. If you're asking for a bill and you can't explain why you need it, you really need to have the context and ability to explain that to the homeowner. As I mentioned, it's a personal thing, so make sure you're explaining why you need it. Got it. And I'm sure you're all sick of my fast-speaking Irish shenanigans. I've only been drinking water, so there's no Irish accent here today. I'm actually have the pleasure now to introduce you for our next section here is Jarrett McAllister. A little background: when I joined Powur, I got in these meetings with Jonathan Bernasso, and here's this dude walking on the treadmill, and I was like, "Who's this guy? I want to hang out with that dude." I also wore my 49ers hat on a couple of meetings, and he gave a big shout out. He's a 49ers fan. He's a Giants fan. I consider him a close friend. His background, he comes in the in-home sales for over 20 years. He actually worked for ADT, and as far as our cats in here and new people that have knocked doors, Jarrett and myself, we've done it. So we've been there. We know what it feels like. In July, he absolutely crushed it. He was the #1 mentor. And, he's been doing solar since 2019. And I just love having Jarrett as a part of the team with enthusiasm. And he's all about me. He's all about taking care of the clients and making sure that everything is done correctly from start to finish. So let me introduce Mr. Jarrett McAllister. I'm sure he's walked 6 miles already today. Here we go, Jarrett.
Right on, Owen. I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate all the nice things you just said. Check is in the mail. So first of all, I want to throw it back to Owen. You guys, that was an incredible training on the utility bill. As you can tell, Owen is a true professional in this industry. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. As he mentioned, we started connecting on these virtual trainings, which is one cool thing about the platform is that it is 90% virtual. It doesn't have to be, but the way that we work it. And we've grown a great relationship over the past year and a half plus. And he's a tremendous leader in this industry. So it feels good. I love the ability to lock arms with you, brother. So yeah, and go Niners, man. We better take it this Sunday. So with that being said, I get the privilege. This is an exciting topic I get to talk about. Get it, submit it, tag it. This is a fun one because it helps people who are brand new in the industry. And, I want to talk a little bit about, my why and like why I'm here and why I'm with Powur. So as Owen mentioned, I've been doing this. I've been in the sales industry for 20 years, even longer than that. I mean, I was selling newspaper subscriptions when I was, 14, 15 years old, actually with my buddy Dan, who's on this call now. It's crazy how things circle back like that. But, in sales, you're always trading time for money in any job you actually do, right? You're trading in your time for money. And I've done that for a lot of time. And I'm always trying to maximize my return, right? My ROI. And with ADT, I used to go around to people's homes and do in-home presentations, hour-long presentations, travel all over the Bay Area, put 40,000 miles a year on my car, my Acura Integra, my 91 back then. And, you know, it's a lot of work. I made a lot of money, but as far as my ROI on time, it just wasn't there. So I learned the ability to actually sell over the phone. It made a little bit less, but was able to make a lot more sales in a shorter amount of time, wasn't driving all over the place, and was highly successful at that. Ran a sales organization where we were crushing it, partnering with realtors. And then in 2019, my best friend, Don Knutson, introduced me to this company called Powur. And I've heard him talk about it over the years. He'd been following the company, but he was like, dude, you got to check this out. I think it's right up your alley. I think you're going to dig it. And I just, you know, I had 2 daughters at the time. Third one's on the way. And I said, okay, let me see what you got going on. And Powur had just switched over to this new cost of goods selling model. And it showed how solar worked. I knew nothing about solar. I knew some people sold it. It wasn't for me at the time. But I knew it was big money, but I just didn't understand it. So he showed me the video and I see it, and their business model was basically like, hey, you don't need to know anything about solar in the beginning. We have plenty of solar professionals here, but if you come in and you find someone who's interested in learning about solar, then you can have a professional mentor present the opportunity to them, sell the deal, and you're going to make half of the commission. Oh, and by the way, the commissions, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And I said, well, what? Hold on, I can make how much for just generating a lead? Now, granted, at the time, you know, I'm already working with customers, people who just bought brand new homes. And so I started talking to my existing customers. I said, hey, have you guys ever considered solar? And some of them, by default, were just saying like, actually, yes, the next thing on our list we're going to look into. I'll never forget the first time that happened. I was like, oh yeah, well, I got someone for you to talk to. I was all like excited, jot down their information. And I called my mentor at the time, Jonathan Bernasso, and I said, hey, I got a live one. This lady's looking to go solar. Gave him the information. He actually drove out to her house because it wasn't that far from where he lived at the time. Went there. And then an hour after he got to the house, he texted me, he was like, congrats, bro, you just made your first solar sale. The profit was over $10,000. Now remember, 70% of that goes to the sales rep, and we split it. I think we made close to like $4,000 each on this deal. I was hooked after that. That was a no-brainer, right? I just generated a lead. And I had a friend of mine, you know, go out there, a professional. I didn't know anything about solar. And now I'm 4,000, richer in my pocket. So back to my why though, it's like, here I am working, slaving away, making decent money, but I have a third child on the way. And to be honest with you, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always, I'm not very employable. Let's just say that. Like my good circle of friends, they say, Jarrett, you're not a very good teller what to do. And it's true. You know, I'm my own boss. I value freedom over everything. And truly the freedom to spend time with my family, that's invaluable, right? My children who are growing up so fast already, the last thing I wanted to do is be stuck at a job consistently, also have my wife at a job consistently, and have somebody else raising our children, not getting to spend time with my family. That is not the case with Powur. You know, I'm absolutely loving the ability to work from home on my own schedule. My wife does not work. She does not have a 9-to-5. She's able to take time to raise our children. And that's invaluable to me. The other thing is, hey, you could have all the time in the world, but if you're broke, it's not that much fun. I don't know. You ever been broke with nothing to do? Well, how about, you know, having money and the ability to go wherever you want? And that's what Powur's been able to give me, is that freedom, that flexibility, not only the time to spend with my family, but the financials to really go and do whatever we want. I'll just say this. We've been living extremely comfortable over the past couple of years, ever since being with Powur. My family has everything that they need. We go anywhere we want. We eat all the good, healthy foods, and I'm extremely blessed. So my why is truly freedom, and it's time for my family. It's my wife. It's my 3 little girls, and so that's why we'll continue to power on, pun intended. So with all that being said, get it, submit it, tag it. Let's talk about that. That's literally all you need to do in the beginning to be successful with the Powur platform. What Eoin just breaking down the utility, kilowatt hours, consumption, net metering. I had no clue what any of that was when I gave that lead to Jonathan Bernasso. I wanted to know, but I didn't have a clue. What kind of panels are they made in USA? Monocrystalline. What does that even mean? You don't need to know any of this in the beginning. You actually don't need to know any of it for your entire career if you chose not to. I mean, you could be ignorant to the fact and just generate leads. But for someone like myself, I wanted to learn. And Powur, the platform, gives you that, once again, it's that ability. You learn while you earn. So in the beginning, the only thing that you need to do is get a utility bill, submit it to the platform, tag a mentor, a solar professional, and learn while you earn. So let's talk about getting that utility bill, because ultimately, truly, the number one thing you need to do, and I've seen people in this industry or people who start up, and they have paralysis by analysis, right? Like they want to learn everything there is when it comes to solar, like what panels, how they work, the utility, all this stuff. And they're just sitting back trying to learn, but they're not taking any action, right? They're not generating any leads. Then you take somebody who knows nothing about solar, but is on absolute fire about the opportunity to save people money. And that's what got me excited, is the ability for people to save so much money going solar. And they just share that excitement with others. They're generating electric bills. They're letting the pros do the work, and they're learning how to become a professional. And those are the ones that have the most amount of success on this platform. So when it comes to getting a utility bill, how it worked for me, yes, I had the benefit of having a customer base that I could already start talking to. But I really became obsessed about including solar into my lexicon. Literally every single person I talked to, it didn't matter if I was, talking to an old colleague, a friend, I was at a party, I'm at a restaurant, I'm in line at a grocery store. When people talk to me or even brought up, what do? I talked about solar. And what you need to do is you need to learn your elevator pitch, right? Your little 30-second pitch, what sparks interest. And once again, you do not need to know everything about solar to do this. You just need to know some of the key takeaways or the key components that get people excited, right? You're just trying to hook the bait. You got the bait, you just got to get them on excited to learn more about solar. So couple key, when I talk to somebody about solar, the first thing I do is I ask a question. I go, hey, this is a crazy question, right? Have you ever considered solar? What a question, right? Have you ever considered solar? And see what they say. And they're either going to say, yes, we have. No, we haven't, right? And if they say, or yeah, we did, but it wasn't for us. If they say, yeah, we already have solar, great, that's fine. But if they say, no, we haven't, or we haven't, it wasn't right for us, then just say, what stopped you guys from going solar? Or, why haven't you taken that step, right? Just ask them a couple key questions about solar. Most people will say, oh, well, we haven't looked into it yet. From there, you just hit them with some key bullet points. You say, hey, you know what? I work with one of the #1 solar companies in the United States right now, and we offer, it's 0 down solar, costs nothing out of pocket to get it. It eliminates your electric bill, right? Your solar payment is it can be less than half of what you're currently paying. There's huge tax credits that are available. And if you gave me a copy of your electric bill, I'd happily go back and have my engineers design a system for you and see if it makes sense for you. How's that sound? That's easy, you guys. That's it. That's all you guys need to do in order to generate leads, is to ask people if they'd be interested in a free proposal, right? And so once again, what are some of the key things that you say to somebody? 0 out of pocket. Solar payment is less than half, or can be up to less than half of what your current utility bill cost is. Huge tax credits. You could even throw in 30-year full coverage warranty. And then would you be open to getting a free presentation? I think every single one of you guys can do that. That's it. That's all you need to focus on. And for those who want to be extremely successful in this industry, is laser focus on that. Do not worry about all the nuances that come with solar and panels and net meter. You're going to learn that when you're working with a with a mentor and a tier 3 seller, right? They're going to teach you every single step along the way. But all you need to do in the beginning is just get excited about the opportunity and ask people to submit your utility bill, or to give you their utility bill. So once you get the utility bill, next step, submit it. Once you go log into the Powur platform, it's very simple. It's basic information: name, address, phone number, email, what utility they're with, guesstimate how old their roof is, right? You put that in, and then you're going to tag it. You're going to tag it with a list of mentors, right? Tier 3 sellers. In Powur, that we have hundreds of professional solar reps who are more than capable of handling, this presentation for you and teaching you along the way. I'll be honest, in the beginning, I used several different mentors. You need to work with at least 3 before you start selling on your own. I did probably about 8, 10, because I wanted to learn from everybody. I wanted to learn from the best. But yeah, just all you need to do is tag a mentor. They'll teach you how to build out the proposal, how to work the presentation, close it, post-close, post-sale close, everything, follow up, all of that. And it really, truly is that simple. And I am just so glad that my buddy turned me on to this back in 2019. It's absolutely changed my family's life. And yeah, I'm appreciative of it. So you guys, for those of you who are getting started with Powur, just keep it simple. Really, just laser focus on generating those utility bills. Now, with all that being said, who are you going to, what's your circle, right? Like, where are you going after these utility bills? There's, you have friends, family, people from church, there's, the list goes on and on. But my buddy Bill is going to actually break that down about building up your pipeline, right? So we're going to give you actionable steps today, for you to build a list so you guys can start generating utility bills today. Bill, brother, you ready to break this down?
I am ready to break this down, Jared. Thank you so much. Awesome job. In fact, all the training so far, everybody is phenomenal. Can we get a thumbs up from all of you who are showing your cameras about what you think of so far today? Good. Thank you all so much for being here. I just want to share very briefly a little bit about me, and I'll talk about building your pipeline. I live in Stockton, California. Not all of my life, so I wasn't born here. I don't claim it as my birth town, but I've been here long enough. As a matter of fact, the only time I left after moving here at 8 years old was to go to school at UCSB, where I graduated with the intent to go to law school. And lo and behold, in my senior year, I made a left turn and said, I don't want to go to law school, and came back to Stockton to help in the family business, which was a restaurant, and was stuck in that industry for about 30 years running a couple of different restaurants. I don't advise that unless you absolutely have a passion for hurting yourself, maybe. No, some people truly love it, but it will take everything you've got. And so I'm very glad not to be doing that any longer. I got into solar in 2012 or 13 through a friend because I needed to work. I wasn't able to retire from that restaurant business and needed a job, and learned from a true solar OG who had done solar from about 1994. So I got really into the nuts and bolts of the whole infancy of the industry and how it came about, and really learned a lot selling mostly commercial systems for 7 years in the industry. That's where I met Tom. That's where we became friends, and it was awesome. I count that as one of the highlights of my life, is meeting him. But the real highlight was he left shortly before I did this company, and he was doing Powur, and he'd sent me a little bit of information, and I looked at it and I kind of poo-pooed it. I was comfortable. I had a 6-figure salary deal and what I was doing, and things were okay. But when I really looked at Powur again, and it was a couple of months later, I said to myself, after seeing what this was about, I said, if this is even half of what they're showing me here, I would be an idiot not to jump in with both feet. So I actually quit my job. I didn't want to divide my loyalties, and joined the Powur platform and followed Tom. And I have not looked back since. I was able to double my income in the first year. I mean, I'm telling you, the things that have happened for me in Powur, I can't even begin to describe, but it was the right choice for me. I love it. I love what the culture of the company is about. It's already been said, but I will tell you that I have a goal. I've been involved here in my town of Stockton with a place called the Gospel Center Rescue Mission, and I've been on the board for about 10 or 12 years. And not only do they offer emergency lodging and stuff for the people, overnight type of stuff, but they have a program, a Christ-centered program that takes people literally from the street, brings them back to sobriety. And I have a keen interest in that, having been sober myself for about 34 years. So I got it, and taking them into sobriety and into society again, giving them an opportunity to really become productive members of society through a 2-year program. So I have a high regard for what they do. I know a lot of people have gone through that program. And so my goal and my long-term goal is to be able to donate $500,000 on an annual basis to that cause. That's just what my mission is. I'm not there yet, but I intend to be. And I think that Powur is the vehicle that will help me get there. I know it is. So that's my my little story and my why. And we're going to talk about the how do we do it here, because one of the questions I have, one of the hurdles that people seem to be having in Powur and in solar in general, is getting leads here. I'm asked that all the time. How are we going to get leads? So we're going to review building your pipeline. We're going to watch a very short video about the best way to develop a supply of warm referrals, because what's better, warm referrals or cold calls? And if you're in sales, I think the answer is obvious. So Tom.
Welcome back. In this module, we're going to take a look at how to build your pipeline. You now have effectively a solar sales and marketing organization of your own for only a moderate monthly cost. If you look at the way we approach things, in the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to have a conversation to show homeowners how to control the cost of their energy, add value to their home, turn a liability that they currently have that they don't control into an asset, and reduce their carbon footprint. Step number 1 is to create that list. Use the memory jogger that's provided to you during certification and begin to make that list. That list is the foundation of any successful campaign. It's a prospect list. A Powur prospect list is really a directory of those who could potentially benefit from going solar or from becoming a team member in your organization if you desire to have passive income. It's important to leave your comfort zone and list everyone who you may not even prejudge, if you will, into hearing about solar or hearing about the business, because you never know who is going to want to hear. So list everyone you know. Don't filter the initial list. Just create that list. Then you can go through the process of determining who you want to talk to about the business or who you want to talk to about solar. With regard to solar, learn $1 million sentence. This simple. Have you ever noticed that your energy prices have been steadily increasing over the past few years? Rarely will they say no. And if they do, it's because they're not paying attention. So let's help guide them through this. And you can then follow it up. Hey, did you see my post that I recently became an independent energy consultant with Powur Energy? No? Well, let me tell you a little bit about that. I'm now certified with Powur to help homeowners evaluate if solar's right for their home and could save them tens of thousands of dollars on their energy costs. So what are your thoughts about solar? At this point, you want to actively listen, take notes, and set you and your mentor up for success. Get with your mentor on that and talk through the best way to help accomplish that. If you get an objection, don't be sidetracked by that. It's very simple. Cushion, overcome, and go for the close. What's the close? It's this simple. That's a great question. Every home is different, so let's see what's true for your home. You may not even be eligible. There's no cost, there's no obligation. All it takes is to send me an electric bill and we can get the process started. It's really that simple. So if I could show you a way to lock in your cost of energy, save you tens of thousands of dollars over the next 20 years and help reduce your carbon footprint with absolutely nothing out of pocket, would you be open to a free consultation? Great. Just give me a copy of your bill and I'll get the process started. It's time to take action. Take a look at that list, create that list, and begin to set yourself up for success and do great things in this industry. Congratulations for completing building your pipeline.
Okay, and next. So that was pretty complete as far as the whole process goes, and we're going to talk about generating a list that's hundreds or maybe even thousands of people. But I really want you to think about this. Who do you know, one person that you know, for example, that has a pool or has an EV or probably has high electric bills, just one person in your mind that you think might benefit from turning the liability of their electric bill into an asset with solar? Right now, think of that person and write them down. Okay, that's enough. That's your start. And that's where we're going to go. From that point, we're going to go to, okay, who next do I know? Who next do I know? And you're going to start writing down on that list everybody you know. And let's go to the next page and see that there are literally hundreds of people that you know that just by virtue of your day-to-day life. For example, let's talk about family and friends. You have a best friend. Do you have a best man or a maid of honor at a wedding? You have a cousin. Do you have a mother-in-law, a father-in-law? Do you have family members? And then you have people that are related to your house. For example, did you have the cable guy come by recently? Or did you have any work done on an appliance at the house? Has anybody visited you for that type of stuff? Home repairs. Think about career, folks in careers. Who do you know that's an accountant? Who do you know that's a plumber? Who do you know that, just go through different categories and areas in your life and people will spring to mind. Go through this list, check, you don't have to even be exhaustive, but as you go along, somebody's going to come into your head, write their name down. Don't qualify them. Obviously at some point we're going to need to know whether they own a home or not, but they might have access to somebody who owns a home, so don't necessarily discount them. How many people you know? In a word, you know a lot of people. If you check your phone and look at your contact list on your phone, there's probably hundreds in your cell phone. If you are on social media at all, we don't even need to get started. How many friends do you have on social media? We can go to the next slide, I think. This is our opportunity to not only do business in our hometown, or what about if we're talking about California, so we're in a power state, but what about if we don't live in a power state? You can do business right now, today, from people that you know around the country. Go into Facebook, click on your friends and type in friends in Texas or friends in North Carolina or friends in Illinois or Pennsylvania or Colorado, or just that fact alone. I typed in friends in Texas and 257 names came up. And I didn't know that I knew 5 people in Texas. And I may not know them well, but I will know them well enough to start a conversation. And that's the key. We're not trying to sell them solar. We're trying to start a conversation that maybe gets them thinking about solar and the possibility, or maybe somebody they know that might want solar. So this is where we build businesses across the country. Tom Cotter, my dear friend, has never sold a deal in Powur other than sitting at his home office, wherever his home happens to be. Never gone out and done a door knocking, or, I live in a town where I have a lot of customers. And so because there may be friends or people that I know, I have gone to people's houses, but not because I had to. But it just was convenient. It worked out. But it is so cool to build a business from the comfort of your home office. I can't even begin to tell you. Those of us who do it share my excitement. Those of you who are thinking about it can just imagine that you don't have to leave your house to build this business. So the next map here, tell me next slide. We're going to go through a very quick exercise. I think it's a minute. And we're going to talk about reaching out with that simple question. Hey, I just got into the solar industry, or I just joined a company in solar. Do you know anyone who might benefit from solar? Okay. How about that simple question? If you can phrase it differently, go ahead. Just that simple question. We're going to get a minute, and I'd like you to reach out to at least one, maybe you can get more people right now through a text with that message. Hey, I'm just growing my business, expanding my business. If you're already in Powur, who do you know who might benefit from changing a liability, their electric bill, into an asset with solar? Okay, ready, go. Okay, it's 3 minutes. So maybe you can get at least 3 people, right?
Don't be shy, guys. It's really that simple. Just shoot out a quick text. You never know what you'll get back.
Hey, Jarrett, real quick.
Yes,
Are you familiar with Mosaic?
absolutely.
All right, I've got a client that signed Monday, okay?
Uh-huh.
But when I go to milestones, it hasn't even said contract signed yet. And he signed last weekend.
Yes, Gustavo. So you know what? We can handle that like offline or talk about that.
Exactly. Thank
Well,
you.
I was just saying, it was, we're on a break, aren't we?
No, everybody can hear you, Gustavo.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were on break.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, I thought we were on break. Cool deal.
All good,
Gustavo,
brother.
you got 60 seconds left to reach out to as many people that you know that still need solar.
I am so sorry, dude. I'm overwhelmed, man. I just, anyway, sorry, guys.
50 seconds.
Okay, I got 3 more to go.
"20 seconds. I love it that even the people that have been doing this for a long time are still reaching out to people during the timer here.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, good exercise. How many of you were able to reach out to more than one person? Good. Okay, you may not get a response back yet, but I mean, that's what, oh, I dropped one of my pennies. Okay, well, we're gonna have to fake it. That's how easy this business is to develop leads. People again ask me, oh, well, how do we get leads? And this is how it works. You start a conversation, something as simple as, who do you know who might benefit from eliminating their electric bill? Bam, a question like that will spark conversations and get the going for you to develop leads. You'll never have to think about buying a lead. I've never bought a lead, period, in Powur, ever. I don't intend to ever buy a lead. This is how it works, and this is how we can develop massive contact lists, and this is how Powur is going to change the world to clean energy. So we're going to discuss getting the electric bill, and I think the next.
Welcome back. In this module of certification, we're going to discuss getting the electric bill. But before we do, we want to take a step back and remind you of the $1 million sentence that we coached you on in building your pipeline. And that is, have you noticed that your energy prices have been steadily increasing over the years? Once you get that conversation going, the next step that you're going to want to look for in that initial objective is to get the electric bill. There's 3 things that will determine whether you should invest more time into that home. It's covered in depth in the Solar Discovery call, but it's 1, how much energy they use, 2, how much they pay for a kilowatt hour of energy, and 3, whether the roof and home is eligible for solar. Well, let's dive into why we need to know how much energy they use. Well, this determines the cost and the size of the system. Without knowing how much they use, it would be a guess. And this is the 2nd or 3rd largest decision a homeowner is going to make in their lifetime. So this is important to get it right. So if the homeowner says, well, what's this going to cost? Well, that's a great question. Every home's different. Let's see what's true for your home. Send me a recent electric bill and we can determine if this even makes sense for you. The second thing you want to look at is how much they're paying for a kilowatt hour of energy. And the easiest way to describe this is take the total amount they owe on the electric portion of their bill, not gas or sewage, but the electric portion of the bill, take those number of kilowatt hours and divide that, in this particular case, by 1,235. That's what will determine what their cost per kilowatt hour is. Generally speaking, we're looking for homeowners to be north of 10 cents per kilowatt hour. 11 to 12 is kind of what we call grid parity, where it begins to create an immediate level of savings. The more they pay, the better the value prop is going to be. So if you look at that, why do we need to know how much kilowatt hour costs? Because this determines the value proposition and the overall savings. So if a homeowner says, well, what's this going to save me? Well, that's a great question. Every home is different. Let's see what's true for your home. Just send me a recent electric bill and we'll take a look at it and see if this even makes sense for you. Folks, if you give them an understanding as to why you need what you're asking for, they're much more likely to provide you what you need because you're going to answer the question that they have. The third thing, and we're going to tie this into the electric bill here, and that is that we want to take a look at their roof and determine if the home is viable. Because again, every home's different. And in context here, there's 130 million single-family residences in the United States of America, of which 90 million are eligible. So if you're speaking with a homeowner, if yours is one of the 40 million who are ineligible, I don't want to waste your time. Now, I can look at your roof from our satellite images, and I'll do that once I verify the service address on your electric bill. Go ahead and shoot me over a recent copy of that, and I'll go ahead and see if this makes sense for you. Again, those 3 things are how much they use, how much they pay, and whether the roof is eligible. You have that conversation, tie it all into why you need an electric bill, and set yourself up for success. And now that you've done that, if you haven't already done this, which is take action, create that list, and begin the process of setting up yourself for a long-term success within the Powur platform. Congratulations on completing getting an electric bill.
Next. So,
Hey, Bill,
yeah.
if I may, I just
Yes.
got to give a shout out. to Darnell, who just posted in the chat to me that he already got a message back from a friend who he reached out to, who's a SAC PD, who wants information about eliminating his electric bill and going solar. So right on, Darnell, for taking action, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
And fantastic, Darnell. That's going to probably happen to others of you right now, is getting responses, because people will reply, particularly if you're texting them. So fantastic. That's the success in action right now. The power energy certification. I think I need the next slide, Tom.
Welcome back.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so this is your back office here under knowledge base. There are resources beyond your imagination that you have to draw from in your back office in Powur. It's just the beginning of the tools and resources that we have for you as sellers. Powur's knowledge base has a ton of information to get you up to speed, keep you informed about the markets, and help you to continue training as you're going along. But just like Jared said, it's so simple. Get it, tag it, submit it, keep it simple. Don't suffer from paralysis of analysis, and get moving. So let's move on here. We're just we have a few more. We're just about rounding third base here on our way home. So we have finding your utility bill training, get it, submit it, tag it, and then 10 pennies. Okay, so on the 10 pennies here, you can go to the next deal here because it shows 10 pennies. And I have to tell you, I think I'm lying. I think I only have 9 right here, but because I dropped one, I couldn't find it. But assuming I have 10 pennies here, we're going to talk about what if something as simple as 10 pennies could be the key to unlocking your financial future. In business, any business, the way to judge your success is by tracking your performance. We here in Powur, as other companies do it by what we call our KPIs, which are key performance indicators. And in Powur, there are 4. The first one is how many conversations are you having? The second is how many bills are you collecting? The third is how many presentations are you giving? And the fourth is how many contracts are you signing? Because a signed contract is the magic elixir that makes us all wonderful in Powur. Okay, so to the point of how many conversations, this is a great little trick gimmick process. If you have 10 pennies,
and Bill, the reason Bill's talking about this is because almost every time I'm on the phone with him or on Zoom with him, and he's sitting at his desk, I can hear his pennies moving around in the background, depending on what side of the desk they're on. So go ahead, Bill.
That's it. That's exactly right. So if you're at a desk here, you take your 10 pennies in the beginning of the day and you set them up on the left side of your desk. If you're out and about, you have 10 pennies with you at all times, and you start out within your left pocket. But every time you have a conversation with someone, and it could really be a conversation that doesn't even necessarily get all the way to solar, but it's a conversation that you're saying you're going to open up with somebody to spark interest in what you're doing in solar. And each of those conversations is a penny, so that when you have that conversation, you move one of your pennies from your left pocket or left side of the desk to the right side, okay, till you get through your 10. That's a very modest goal to set for yourself, but it's also very practical and keeps your mind focused on the fact that, oh yeah, I've got to talk to somebody today about Powur, about solar, about what I'm doing. And if you'll do that, you know, as I say, it's kind of a gimmick, but if you do it and train yourself as a habit, it's amazing how many times you'll be reminded to bring up what you're doing. Jared says it and I live it, and you know, I can't not mention Powur or what I'm doing or the process of the fact that we're changing the world to clean energy, because it's now in my DNA. But it didn't start out that way, and you have to do something that will get you into the habit of talking to people. So consider the 10 pennies as your example, or as your reminder of talking to people, starting that conversation, and it's a surefire way to getting bills. Now, these are some scripts here, little snippets. I think the one that Charles just mentioned a couple of different times is, hey, have you noticed that your electricity bills have been consistently rising over the past couple of years? Just that question, if they say no, or they could care less or whatever, you can shift it or move on to somebody else, but your attitude and your intent is to spark the conversation and get their interest. So let's take this, let's see, the third one there. Not sure if you saw my update, but do you know anyone who's currently looking into going solar? Okay, very, very simple, very brief, kind of out of left field, but boom, they're gonna, and let's see if you can do that. I think we have another little opportunity here, a little minute opportunity to try to do that text to as many people as you didn't get to in the last 3-minute deal, and just do that. Not sure if you saw my update. You may not have posted one, which is fine. Then obviously they didn't see it, but not sure if you saw my update. But do you know anyone who's currently looking to go into solar? Okay, let's see if we can send that to, let's try and get 3 people in a minute, huh?
Here we go.
Ready? Go. Okay, I got 3 because I had to type it out, and I have bad thumbs. Some of you kids can text faster than I can even think. So, but anyway, did everybody get something out? Did y'all try? If you tried, congratulations, because that's the beginning here. If we just start to have this as part of our life in solar, how we're reaching out to people, you can do this thing, and before long, you're going to get so many responses that you won't know how to handle all of it. Now, if you're not comfortable with that necessarily, we have, and I'd like you to scan the QR code here. We have in your back office tons of social media shareables. They were reviewed earlier, but these are some great things produced by Powur in Spanish and in English that you can put and post regularly on your Facebook, on other people's Facebook pages, on groups that you join. Believe me, there is no end to the amount of things you can do with our created media, with things that you come up with. Various leaders in Powur are always putting out content. Tom, our fearless leader, my fearless leader, is constantly putting out social content that I steal. He says happily, go ahead, take it. Certainly, as long as it's got his his link on there. But no, really, you can reach out to people all over the place, and that's what's so neat about this. Again, for those folks who maybe have prior solar experience, don't worry about the fact that Powur isn't providing you with leads, because any leads that anybody provides are mostly crap, right? They're 3 and 4 times run over. They're with people that are already looking at solar. There's all kinds of reasons why you don't really want, generated leads on your behalf. But you generate your own, you're much more likely to get people who haven't even considered solar. And if they do, you're their only person that they're looking at. Just phenomenal. So that's the little bit about social media.
And I'll mention one thing, Bill, for everyone. So we talked about, Bill did some great walking us through some training here on, thinking through who you know and who your network is, who you're connected to. This next section here that we're looking at now is on social media, and specifically on social media. This isn't going to exist forever, but right now, specifically on Facebook and Instagram, Reels, and on YouTube Shorts are performing super, super well right now. So in addition to just a normal posting on social media, if you can do Reels and Shorts, I expect that you're going to see some interesting things happen with that as well. So I just wanted to mention that since it's kind of timely right now, Bill.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And hot doesn't even begin to describe how popular they are. And people they go down the rabbit hole on Reels, for example, because I've done it myself, and you just ended up spending 45 minutes when you were going to take a look at one. So if you can get in there and start doing that regularly, just another avenue of revenue for us, ladies and gentlemen. So we've gone through Find Your Why, utility bill training, get it, submit it, tag it, and 10 pennies, developing your contact list. And now it's time to turn it back to our grand wizard here. Oh, I don't think you'd say that. That's probably not the right thing to say. You know what I mean? Our fearless leader, Tom Cotter, to
Thanks, Bill.
tie things up in a bow.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Owen and Jarrett and Scott. Good training here. I hope that has been helpful for everyone in really just getting started on the right foot and not overcomplicating it. We did give you some foundational information there, but we want to make it simple as well. So what's next? So connect with whoever invited you to this meeting, whoever referred you to Powur. And once you get signed up, you're going to want to connect to Powur Pioneers Facebook group. You're going to want to go to powurcalendar.com to see what the next thing is that's happening this week. Typically, after you sign up, one of the first things that you're going to do is to, go through your Tier 1 training certification courses online. So you can do that in a couple hours, and then you're going to go to Thursday at noon Pacific or 5 p.m. Pacific is an Powur On, which is an onboarding Zoom call. And all those are listed on powurcalendar.com. I'm going to mention what's coming up in a minute here, but Monday at 5 o'clock, every week we do Powur Hour at powurhour.com, where you can hear the business presentation again of who Powur is, what we've built, and where we're headed. Once you get through the training, you want to stay in touch. So we've got every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, we have Powur Live from our world-class training platform, where you can learn more about the KPIs, the key performance indicators that Bill was talking about, with how many conversations are you having, how many bills are you collecting, how many presentations are you giving, and how many people are you helping to go solar. And again, initially, when you first start, if you don't have solar experience, your first 3 projects are going to be with a Tier 3 seller. And if you do have solar experience, then your first 1 project is going to be with a Tier 3 seller. So we want to keep it simple. And we'll say this again, even though I left the slide up for quite a while Jarrett was talking earlier. When you start, remember Jarrett's story about Jonathan Bernasso. The only thing that Jarrett did when he started to make $3,500 to $4,000, he got an electric bill, he submitted it, he tagged Jonathan, and then Jonathan got in the driver's seat and helped that homeowner go solar while Jarrett learned along the way. Keep it simple. So I'm going to close with this thought. The results you achieve will be in direct proportion to the effort that you apply. Powur is a platform that is very powerful at providing freedom for the people who work it. The people for whom this platform does not work are the people who don't work it. It's not some get-rich-quick scheme. It's a business, and we are entrepreneurs building our business on this platform. I want to share with you some words from our fearless leader, Jonathan Bernasso. He put together some thoughts specifically for us and for you as we're closing off this training today.
Greetings, fellow solar superstars.
Jonathan
I hope
Bud.
you're all having a wonderful day. And at first, I just want to congratulate and thank everybody for showing up to our first virtual Power Day. You know, we're always trying to do something different here at this company and how we engage our country and the people all over the world in the conversation of solar and in accelerating the adoption of sustainable energy worldwide. So thanks for participating in our crazy experiments. And I hope you've been having a wonderful day, learning so much, and getting a chance to connect with the amazing leaders across this company. Now, what I want to share with you as CEO of Powur and as someone whose primary job is to really look at the marketplace and understand what's going on, try to make sense of it all, and make sure that our strategy and our team, you know, is aligned with that future, and we've got enough money in the bank to execute on all our goals, right? So as that person, here's what I want to share with everybody listening to this video right now. You know, we're at a pivotal turning point in the solar industry. When Powur first began 8 years ago, I can promise you there was no one who was beating down my door to learn about solar, get a quote, you know, find out how much money they could save, you know, all of the stuff that you hear about solar energy. Nobody. The market was so different. You know, it was still so much younger, so much in a push and demand. You know, we have to go create demand. We have to go push. We have to go educate. If I didn't go out there and find customers, nobody was coming to me. And you fast forward to today, and it's really changing. I can't even tell you, just this week alone, this week, just 1 week, I've had five people in my network, contact, friends, relatives, colleagues, you name it, hit me up and ask me about solar. You know, one of my friends from high school hit me up, hey man, I've been seeing these ads all over the place and I'm curious, like, is this real? I had multiple investors in Powur all hit me up, hey, you know, what's going on? Should we get this soon? Blah, 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 blah. I had 2 other people hit me up, just referrals from people that I know. Hey, I know you went and got solar. I had a neighbor walking by my house ask me, you know, just walking by, one of my neighbors just, oh, hey, I heard you were in solar. This neighbor over here said, and it's just insane right now. If you take the time to position yourself as a leader, as a man or woman of value, as somebody who has value to offer your community with this product, I promise you, we're entering a boom time for this industry that you can't buy that kind of timing. And, you know, I could probably look back in history and see, you know, how many products really changed society, how many products really went through a mass adoption curve and society was different afterwards. Computers, cell phones, automobiles, you know, these are some of the big ones that come to mind, right? And you look at the businesses that were positioned, right? Think the largest companies in the world today, Apple, Microsoft, right? They were positioned in front of that computer boom, that phone boom, that mobile phone, smartphone boom, you know, and you look at where we are with solar right now, and I'm telling you, this product is going to change society. You know, what we can do with this product, we can generate electricity from your freaking rooftop, from the sun hitting your roof. What an insane asset resource that we didn't even know was available. We have money being printed off our rooftop every single day, as long as we install that solar panel system up there and can harvest that sunlight. And we decentralize energy production. We no longer need giant utilities. We don't need these centralized entities anymore. We can take our power back. We can produce energy from the sun. We can become energy independent, not reliant on all these other countries for our energy or whatever it may be. We can empower our economies because this is the cheapest form of energy in America today, for God's sakes. And oh, by the way, it's massively labor intensive. These aren't a bunch of big machines like the fossil fuel industry, which, by the way, that's what it primarily is giant machines. It's not a labor-intensive industry. It's a machine-intensive industry. This is not that. This industry is highly labor intensive. So as we scale solar in America, you're going to see millions of jobs get created. Millions. The solar industry is already 300,000 people large, the solar workforce, and we're only 3% of America's energy production. Come on. I mean, there's so much more we can do. 3% in terms of residential adoption. I mean to clarify, there's a lot more production from utility and commercial scale. But in any case, I hope the point is coming through that this product is an absolute game changer. And you don't have an opportunity like you have right now in this company, in Powur, every day. You just don't. We're positioned in front of that boom. And with the passage of the recent climate legislation and all of the insane incentives that are going to be behind clean energy for the next 12 years straight, all of our phone numbers, right? If you're a real professional, if you serve your customers right, if you educate them, if you design great systems for them, if you put their needs first, if you're values focused, how can I contribute the most value to my clients? If you do that, you're going to have your phone blowing up for the next decade with referrals out the wazoo and people who are looking to you as the man or woman who they associate with solar when they come to make this big decision. And the writing is on the wall. We're already seeing it. Our platform is producing record incomes for record amounts of people in record growth month after month, quarter after quarter, and it's truly just the beginning. So the question is, honestly, what are you waiting for? I mean, what could be better than a career in a business filled with passion and purpose, solving one of the world's biggest challenges, making the world sustainable for all future generations, changing how we produce energy, decentralizing our grid, bringing independence back to people's homes in America? What the heck could be better? And oh, by the way, making an amazing living, an amazing income while you're doing it. So I truly hope you see the vision of what this product and this platform can do for your life, and make the decision now. Make this decision today, whether or not you're going to be a part of this moment in history, this historical time period that we're living in right now, where we, you and me and the people right around you right now, we've got the ability to build a new energy grid, a new way to power the world. And that way of powering the world is going to transform what's possible on this planet. We're going to enter an era of total abundance of energy. There's no limit to the energy from the sun, and we can unlock that, and we can unlock that energy at the cheapest cost that energy has ever existed. And what's that going to do for society? And that's what you have a chance to do right now. That's the role you're playing. So join us on this amazing mission to accelerate the adoption of sustainable energy and bring the benefits of solar power to all. And while you're doing it, create an amazing business, an amazing career for yourself. Thank you so much to all of our leaders who played your role in organizing today's event, and the constant mentorship and training and inspiration that you are to the thousands and thousands of people across the nation who are developing a career with Powur. I appreciate every one of you so much. And to all of our new people who are listening to this message for the first time, I truly hope we get a chance to work together. I don't think you will find a better industry and a better platform than Powur, maybe in your lifetime. So take a real close look. And if this message resonates with you, join us. Get started. Let's go change the world. Let's go change your life. Let's go do something absolutely epic together. I'll see you all at the next one.
Epic. Jonathan Budd is a renewable source of energy.
Greetings, fellow
himself
solar
here.
superstars. I
Skip
hope you're
this video that wants to keep playing here. It's a good place to work. It's a good platform to build on. And just wanted to mention just two things before we close this off. Right now, we have a Labor Day sale going. It's a promotion for any new customers where they can get a check for up to 3 years of their loan payments after the system is installed. So this is a promotion that ends on September 30th. Got a little bit less than half the month left to follow up with people who you sent that text message to, who maybe, if they haven't yet, maybe they will reply to you later on tonight or tomorrow. So it's a great way to introduce people to Powur, to solar. It's a great promotion. and up to 3 years of payments covered when their system is installed. We also have Career Week at Powur. If you are in Powur and you are on this call, this may be the first time that you are hearing about this, but we are using this time to announce this. So you can invite business professionals in your network to a meeting either on October 24th, 25th, or 26th. The 24th is for people who are working in solar. 25th is for people working in roofing. 26th is for real estate professionals. So all of the messaging, all of the talk is about, Powur and solar, and the platform is going to be tailored towards those verticals, as you will, or those industries. And this is going to be at powurhour.com and at 5 p.m. Pacific on each of those nights. So put that on your calendars. If you're in Powur, make sure you're paying attention to the weekly newsletter that we send out and to powurcalendar.com. The next thing that you can come to learn more about Powur and to hear the success that people are having on our platform is this coming Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, also at powurhour.com. I hope that some of you who have been sitting here for the last couple hours as we have been going through this information will look back on today, September 17th, 2022, as the time where you heard about the Powur platform and where you made a decision, like Jonathan Budd was talking about, to get involved and to make a difference and to be an impact entrepreneur and to build a solar business on the Powur platform. That is not complicated. That starts with getting a utility bill, tagging a tier 3 seller on the platform. It's as simple as that. So thank you for all of you who came today. Bill, Eoin, Jarrett, and Scott, thank you so much for your training today. And you all can come off of mute if you would like to. But thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at Powur Hour Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific at powurhour.com. Thank you, everyone.
Outstanding work, Tom.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Hey, what a
Thank you.
Powur day virtual.
Thank
Nice
you,
job,
everybody.
guys.
California
Thank you, Johnny.
rocks.